Hi guys, my name is Tyra, and today we'll be talking about a well-known disease called herpes. So what is this public health problem? Why does herpes exist in today's society? Studies show that herpes was passed from the chimps before humans existed. It eventually came to arise and is now known to be called the herpes simplex virus in humans, and it is commonly spread through sexual contact. So how does this even happen? Herpes are categorized into two types. There's herpes 1, but there's also herpes 2. Herpes 1 can be spread orally, for example, by kissing or sharing things like your toothbrushes, whereas herpes 2 can be spread through any form of sexual contact. Where does this disease occur? Herpes 1 occurs mostly around the lips or the mouth, which most people like to call cold sores. Herpes 2 occurs in the genital area, which means that a person that is infected with herpes 2 could have sores below the waist and or around the genital area. So what are the risks for the community in the future? The fact that there's no cure for herpes, the community can be affected immensely in the future. Considering there's only about 85% of the people who do not know that they have herpes, so it could be very easily transmitted. Although herpes can be helped by the use of medication, there's no cure for it. Etiological factors. Being a woman. Women are most likely to get herpes than men. Having multiple sex partners, unprotected sex, sometimes the trigger of herpes is not identified. How to solve the problem? So many people wonder how to get rid of herpes, but the virus that causes the herpes is not curable. However, there are some strategies to prevent herpes and decrease the amount of breakouts one is receiving. Strategy number 1. Believe it or not, foods play a big part in preventing herpes, but there are also some foods that can make it worse. Eating foods like orange and red veggies, wild-caught fish, clean, lean protein can prevent the herpes from getting worse, whereas alcohol, added sugars, acidic foods make it worse. Strategy number 2. Like we said before, there's no cure for herpes, but there are many medications that can be taken to help prevent it and shorten the outbreaks that happens when infected by the disease. For example, Zovirax, Famir, and Valtrex. Also, keeping the infected area clean and always washing your hands before touching an infected area. Cultural examples. In different cultures, herpes are looked at from a different viewpoint. For example, according to the article, Different Cultures, Herpes, and Sex, a woman from Brazil stated that she didn't view herpes as an issue in the Brazilian society. She said that in Brazil they would say, "I'm having a herpes outbreak, so no sex for a week," with no shame. Their culture works on treating the herpes in a healthier way instead of trying to take medicine for it. And that just goes to show how different a culture could be when it comes to treating these diseases. With that being said, how can we help public health in the future? Well, here are some things to keep in mind to prevent this. Use condoms every time you have sex. It's always good to know your partner's sexual history, and it's also always good to know your sexual history. Never have oral sex with anyone with a cold sore, and don't have sex with sores around the genital area. Also, never have any oral contact with anyone with a cold sore. And lastly, here are some of the articles that I used in this PowerPoint. They give a little bit of more detail of the disease itself. There are really good sources if you want to read about it and if you just want to learn more things about it. And if you have any more questions, you should look at all of these. They're very interesting. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint. Thank you.